Hey guys, welcome to Rocking the Spectrum, Let's Talk Autism podcast episode 3. My name is Jasmine. I am an RBT. I work with children on the spectrum.
My name is Hugo, a father doing my best to spread awareness.
So in this episode, we're going to talk about autism siblings. We have, if you guys are not aware, we have a son on the autism spectrum. His name is Christian. He is 6 years old and he is nonverbal. But we also have our beautiful girl. Her name is Haiti. She is going to be 9. Is that right? Dang,
in April.
That time flies.
In April, she turns 9.
Jeez Louise. So in this episode, we want to put the spotlight on her, and we want to talk about siblings and and like the struggles they go through, and just like how much she helps her brother and us. And I want to know how you guys feel about this topic. Do you guys have other kids on the spectrum? Well, do you guys have more than one child, and what you think it means for them? Like if they understand, how much they understand. And there's a bunch of like a little bit of jealousy, right? Like you're doing this for him, but not me. A little bit of they feel like they're not on the spotlight. So I think it's a heavy hitter, another heavy hitter in this topic.
Yeah. Well, Haiti, she's definitely a big help, and I feel that sometimes we take it for granted. Yeah,
I think that's pretty common. I think that happens a lot because she's our in a way easy child. We can ask her, hey, like, and you can relate it to just having another kid. Like you have an older kid and then you have a baby. Go get me a diaper. Go bring the water for the bottle. Like it's just easy to kind of like get that help and just keep getting that help from that kid.
Yeah, her birthday's coming up in
April 3rd.
I still remember. I tell her, I remember I've told her before when she was born, and I told her that that's like the only time that I can remember having tears of joy, Like when she was born, I told her like, I cried, mama, and she's like, but why would you cry if I was born? I was like, I wasn't crying because I was sad, I was crying because I was so happy that you were here. You're the first one that made me a parent,
Firstborn.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel that the things that she does to help us with Christian, you can't really like think about every single little thing, but sometimes we need to appreciate her a little bit more on how she helps us out. Yeah. But it's like we expect it,
Yeah, and that sucks. Like even with like waking up in the middle of the night, she'll be like, I'm not gonna wake them up. Yeah, Christian, go to sleep. That itself is like huge. Yeah. Or like
I've heard her say that before too.
And she only wakes us up when it's like, okay, he's not going back to sleep. So, or also like when we're going to the gym, and the fact that we a lot of times won't go if she's not there to help us with Christian, because leaving him in the daycare or play center at the gym alone is one thing, and it makes us feel nervous and we rarely do it, but leaving him with her to help, it's like game changer. Like we have no worry because she's there.
Man, I love that girl. She does things, and I think to her she doesn't really think about it no more. It just comes out of her heart. And when we ask her how she would feel about having another brother or sister, she always says, I don't want no more brothers or sisters. I only want my Christian.
Yeah, so she sees it. I feel like she sees it as like, if I have another brother or sister, it's gonna be replacing my brother.
Yeah.
And we don't know how to explain it to her. Like, no, that's not the way it works.
It's easier to say.
No, my brother, I have Christian,
Yeah.
And like the fact of like, I think a lot of siblings of special needs children, they have such a protective way about them. Like you might not even, like, let's say somebody's looking at you, but you're not even looking in a wrong way. Like, it's kind of like they feel like, why is he looking at my brother? Or like they already feel kind of like on guard in a way. And it kind of sucks because that's the way that she has to live her life. Like she always feels a little bit protective of her brother. But at the same time, I'm really proud of her for like having such a big heart and wanting to help her brother. Like, don't get us wrong. They still have that bickering of brother and sister, like, yeah, Christian, or like, mommy, why do I have to do this and this when we ask? But for the most part, she's very protective and very loving of her brother.
Yeah. when there's times where we'll be at the gym. I think I've spoke about it before. And what I meant earlier by like she just does things and it comes out of her heart. There's been times where she's at the gym and she does things without even thinking about it. I'll go back and I'll pick them up because they have a playroom, and that's where you drop off the kids. The parents go to the gym, do their thing for 2 hours, and then they could come back. I'll come back and she'll tell me, "Dad, I took Christian to the restroom twice."
I had to tell a teacher to, hey, why don't you let him in the bathroom? You know,
yeah, he's in there. Right. He's in there because because he needs to use the restroom.
Yeah, she's very brave, and like she defends her brother so much. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead.
Sometimes I do that. One of the things that I think everybody, if you watch our YouTube, you can kind of tell, like, she's very protective. She's an amazing sister. She's very kind-hearted. Like, it's not just for her brother. Like, when she goes to school, sometimes she'll tell me, like, oh, there was a kid that he seemed like he was all alone, or, like, some people were making fun of him, and she's the kind that will go over there and go sit with you or talk to you or whatever, try not to make you feel bad in any way. And, we've talked about how much she helps her brother a lot. I think the biggest thing as her mom that I feel bad about or struggle with, like we mentioned before in other podcasts and videos, is the fact that we have very low patience compared to with Christian. Christian, it might be the fact that he has that special needs, like title, like he is special needs, he has special needs, he needs more from us. And, Haiti might need this much from us. And like sometimes we feel like we're barely meeting that, and like we're already struggling with like our temp. Not to say that we're like really mean, but like she deserves so much because she's so great, and we're only giving her, like, in a way you could say, like, I feel like sometimes like the leftovers, like this is our patience, and we gave this much to Christian and you have this much, and it sucks because she deserves better. Yeah. We've said it before, like sometimes, like, let's say you make a small mistake and you drop something, and it's like you've been holding this much, like you're literally at the breaking point, and that just broke you, and you're like, oh, why did you spill that? She's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, and then you, even as you're saying these things, you're like, oh my God, you're overreacting. What are you doing? And it sucks because, like we've said it before, she's like literally a great daughter. And like we need to give her more. Like, and we've talked about parenting and like how you want to do family all together, but I sometimes feel like we do need to give her that like one special day a month, like just her, like let's reward her. And she always gets so happy when it's just us two, like, really, we're gonna go do this, we're gonna do that, because a lot of things we can do with Christian, like skating with her and him, movies, a lot of movies he doesn't care for. Yeah,
definitely she does. Hey, that's just hard for me to separate the family. Like, no, I like to keep the family together, but you are right. She does need her day because she does do
so much
more than we could even ask for.
More than we even probably know.
Today I was actually cooking, and I asked her to help me take care of her brother. I looked out. He was on the tire because you know how he likes to get on the tire. And then after the tire, maybe like 5 minutes go by, and they're on the trampoline together, and he's heavy. Yeah,
he's almost 80 pounds.
Yeah, he's close to 80 pounds.
He's almost Hades' height, and over Hades' weight.
She helps him get on the trampoline, and then all I hear is Dad, and Hades, Papi, hurry! What? Could you bring me Gatorade?
She's funny, man. Sometimes she'll do that and you're like running for your life, like, what's happening? And then she'll like try to be cute, like, look, we're all cozy up in the bed.
But she knows
she does
that we'll respond fast if she's with her brother.
Scream,
and if she's with her brother, because she like, Dad, could you come here? Papi, man, it's like we're gonna take a little bit longer. But if she's with her brother, papi,
it's like,
mommy,
which that sucks too, pobrecita.
Yeah.
I feel like special needs siblings are amazing. Like there was like there's siblings where I work, and even that like there was an instance where there was a little sibling, like let's say he's 3, and then the older sibling, let's say he's like 10. And like another kid was trying to grab the phone, and the older sibling is like, hey, that's my brother's phone, like it's like a protective thing that I think a lot of special needs siblings have, like to protect. or even in general, like older to younger, like there's like such a kind-heartedness to that relationship of like I'm your older brother, sister, and you're my younger person, you know?
Yeah.
Like, which is awesome.
But there's more to just protecting. I also feel that they're a role model to their.
Yeah, if you thinking about that, I don't know if it's connected, but like you can see the love that Christian has when he looks at Haiti.
Yeah.
Like, or like if she does something silly, like he gets this look of like, you're so silly, or like, I like you, you know, like it's just this other look to him that he gives her.
So we're starting this diet with Christian where he can't have milk. And earlier today, we had strawberries and whipped cream. And Haiti and I, we were in the living room trying to eat it as quick as we can before Christian came out because he was in the room.
Aww.
And we heard him coming, and then Haiti and I, we both look at each other, and we're like, and she looks at me, and she's all like, he's coming. I said, yeah, and then she runs with the plate, and I'm all like, put it in the refrigerator, Haiti, put it in the fridge. And she opens the door, and Christian comes, and he's just looking at her, and he's standing right behind her, like peeking over her shoulder, what are you doing? And then Haiti's all like, is he gone? I was like, he's right behind you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Their bond is funny.
Yeah, it's like he's always following her, you know, like whatever she does, he wants to go and do it too.
He really does.
He looks up to her a lot.
That's really cool to see. I'm excited to see like their growth, like as siblings, you know, as they get older. I think that she's gonna become a great person.
She already
is a great person.
Yeah. And I don't even feel that it's like you and I that we should take the credit. It's like Christian's making that impact on everyone.
Yeah, everybody that touches.
Yeah, Christian is definitely touching her life, you know. Yeah. I've asked her like, what do you want to do when you grow up, Haiti? Yeah. And she says like she wants to help people.
Yeah,
and I'm wondering if she's saying that like because she just wants to help people or because she's been impacted by her brother, you know.
And it's funny because she likes to kind of like show what she's got. Like when our RBTs or therapists are around, she kind of does this thing where like she has certain words or does certain things that she knows that's how they talk, and like she wants that like, oh, you're doing such a good job, you know. I've seen it, yeah. And I'm like, hey.
she gives praises, right?
And she gives me this look like, stop, mom, don't tell them. Like she'll be like, Christian, good job, Christian, I like how you did something, and then I'll be over here like looking at her, and she's like, shh, you know. Because she likes that, and like all the therapists have been like, you're doing so good with him, like, you know, she'd probably be a good teacher or something, you know, and like she loves to hear that. And I'm sure one day she probably will maybe look into that because she is really good with him. She's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, it's hard, certain things about, you know, trying to balance everything, but also I love seeing the bond that they have. And I don't know how much she knows about autism. Like he got diagnosed when she was what, 5, 6, 7, 8? No. Yeah, about Haiti when she was 4 or 5 when Christian was diagnosed.
Haiti was 5 years old and Christian was a year and a half. When Christian was diagnosed, Haiti was 5.
Yeah. So, you know, like at that point, I think it was hard for her to understand. I think as she's getting older, she's understanding more. And one of the things that I always want to find, maybe I'll look into getting books. And if you guys know of any good books, let me know. And I'll try to look into them, but just explaining autism to kids. You know, Haiti understands to an extent, and I think sometimes she's still like, you know, like, why does he have so much attention? But the thing that I struggle with also is explaining it to kids.
Yeah, sorry, let me just go back a little bit. At that time when he first got diagnosed, I still remember her asking me, when is he gonna play with me? When is he gonna talk? When is he gonna do this?
Why is he doing that?
Yeah, she didn't understand. I mean, you can't blame her when
we barely understood.
I didn't even know what it was, you know. So, she was expecting her brother to reach a certain age so she could play with him,
or expecting certain things to just stop, kind of like you know, when you were like, oh, we'll do A, B, and C and it'll get better, it'll stop. You know, I'm sure she thought the same thing. She probably heard us say something like that, you know, like if we do this and this and this, he'll probably do this.
But what, like 3-4 years have gone by, and she definitely understands a lot more.
I think she still feels like, is he ever gonna talk? But like, come on, we think that, is he ever gonna talk? People that view us think or ask us, is he ever gonna talk?
I do.
You know, like,
I always have hope for him.
Yeah, no. And for me, I don't necessarily like cling on to like, is he ever gonna talk? My main thing is I want to help him find a way to talk in his own way. I don't care how it is. I just want him to be able to tell us things. You know, and a lot of times I'll try to find myself being like, you know, when I say hi, instead of saying hi, I can say like wave. You know, there's certain ways that we talk, and like if you're being nitpicky, and some people are very like critical about like the way that you say certain things, but it's just the way that naturally comes out. In a way, sometimes you have to tweak it. You know, so we kind of got off topic there, but yeah, let us know what is the hardest part that you think for you to balance siblings, one that has special needs and one that doesn't, and like what's the most rewarding thing that you have experienced with your son or like their siblings, or like what you think is like how they feel, or like what you've seen them do that you're like, dang, that's a good kid I raised, you know? So one of the things that I find hard is explaining autism to kids, and I laugh because we went to this one party like probably like a week and a half, no, like 2 weeks ago. And there is this kid that, you know, Christian, he stims, and that's not even like the biggest thing. One of his biggest stims, or like he has like a vocal stim, but he also has the hand stim. One of his therapists calls it his tango hands because it looks like kind of like he's tangoing, but he also kind of has like thumb sucking and then kind of sometimes spitting, like messing with his spit. And he was in the trampoline, and another kid was in there. And I heard the girl say, ew, get him out of here. And you know, my spidey senses were like, what is that, baby? You know, when I go running and I'm like, what's going on, you know? And then I was like, hey, what's happening? And she's like, he's spitting, or like he's touching, like his hands are full of spit and he's touching the trampoline. And I was like, I remember in that moment I was like, I'm like in that mode of like, what do I say? You know, and like you have an instant to reply, or like, you know, whenever something happens that you know this is the moment, the breaking point of the moment that you know you could impact some kid's point of view of special needs. Like,
but keep in mind, you're not the mom.
I know, but like the mom, what if they don't know anything about autism, and I'm the person that could provide that information?
So how do you go about it?
That's the question. And what did I say?
What did you say?
I was like, oh, it's okay, he needs that. I don't even know if that was the right answer. Probably not, if I'm laughing. I was like, oh, it's okay, he needs that. She's like, why? I was like, what did I say? I was like, oh, he needs that to calm himself. I think that's something that I said. I'm probably tweaking it a little bit, but that was to the extent that it was. And then she was like, that's gross. I was like, it's okay. Everybody needs different things, you know? But in my mind, I think I even told you that day, I was like, okay, I need to find like that plan. What is my go-to when people say, ew, or like, why is he doing that?
Yeah, because it's going to happen.
It always happens,
He's getting older. So he's getting more stares, and people are going to have more questions.
Or if they don't have questions, it's good to just like inform them of these things. I've had other kids that when we're at the park and they're playing, little kids are curious, not judgmental for the most part, especially younger kids. Like, you are going to be curious why when you're like, hey, you want to play? Hey, and there's no answer. You know, and I've had that so many times, in my heart, it like kind of breaks for them. Like, he's not ignoring you. Don't feel bad, you know? Like, I want to go and be like, hey, just to answer the kid. But I'm like, and then like they'll look at me because obviously I'm like right there looking like all creepy, and I'm like, oh, you know, he doesn't talk, but he wants to play, you know, like don't think he's ignoring you. He does want to play. He just doesn't. He's not talking yet, or something like that, you know. And like because they're so young, it's kind of like they only understand to a certain extent. So what I would like to inform them is like, just because he doesn't talk doesn't mean he doesn't want to play, and he does play differently, you know. So I'm trying to find ways to explain that better. Like I maybe I'll find a little notebook and just like have these answers ready, but I want something that's natural, and I want something that impacts them, so that next time they see another kid, they won't think like, what's wrong with them, or like, you know, like they'll still want to play with them. And for the most part, a lot of kids don't need words to play. They just find a way to play with each other, and that's awesome. You know, it's not necessarily, I think as we get older, we get these ideas of like, that's weird, you know. But if you start them young and you explain, you know, how kids are different, even if you don't have like a kid that necessarily, like, you're not in that moment where you're needing to teach them, but like if you have a kid and you can explain things already, like, hey, you know, if there's a kid in the park that doesn't talk, you know, maybe, you know, there's certain things that might be different about them, but it doesn't mean that you can't play with them. Just like try to teach even before that even happens, so that when they see a kid and they're not responding, they could be like, oh, he might not be talking right now, but he still wants to play, you know. Sorry.
Yeah, most definitely. We're still learning, and we're doing our best to have Christian play with others and others play with Christian. It's just finding that balance on explaining things, right?
And I always, when I go to parent trainings or parent meetings for his ABA center, I always feel like they always tell me, like, so today Christian, you know, he actually made eye contact with the kid today. I'm like, oh, cool, you know, like they're like, so today the kid was like getting really close to Christian and he actually like reached out and touched him. Or like, so there was a kid and Christian was in the tent and that kid went into the tent and Christian tolerated him, you know, like it's like these little baby steps, because one of the main things about Christian is he's very, like, if you see him, you wouldn't think that he's trying to engage with any kids, but kids are curious about him. Even other kids with autism, you know, like they're still curious about him, because I'm sure you guys know autism doesn't mean like everybody's the same. Like there's kids that are very social and there's kids that don't care at all about being social. There's kids that are learning to be social and they're finally, like, you know, engaging with other kids. But Christian, for the most part, it seems like he doesn't care. But now I'm like, every month that passes by, I keep hearing like, oh, Christian was looking at that kid. Christian was like, let that kid grab his toy and he let him play with it. Like there's little things that are becoming more and more, and as he's getting older, I'm trying to push for more, like, hey, you know, like let them try to find some social play things with them, try to get him to engage with them. He's tolerating circle time, so it's cool, you know.
Yeah. Well, this concludes our podcast, and you know what I noticed, that it's only you and I talking. Let's get some feedback. Let's have people call in, message.
You're on the line with Jazzy.
If we could get some feedback and maybe have someone call in, or
let us know if you'd be interested in joining our podcast. Maybe we could do a little video chat, or maybe we could go to wherever you're at. Ooh.
Yeah.
Traveling podcast.
If you guys are interested in being
part of this, giving us your, you know, like your point of view, you know, engaging with us, and I would love to see a different perspective, because everybody's different, and even yours might be similar to us, our journey or our experience, but even you have something different to offer.
Yeah, definitely. Please share your journey, and let's all stay connected and share our stories. We all have a different story.
Yes.
And it'd be awesome to hear from you guys.
Yep.
Please reach out to us.
Let us know if you'd be interested. So yeah, you can find us on all the social media platforms except for TikTok and Snapchat. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, Instagram,
Spotify.
All right, thank you so much for listening or watching or doing both, and we will see you in the next
Rocking the Spectrum.
Bye.
Bye.